Flavio Bolsonaro has gone 79 days without accounting for Dark Horse from the movie Bolsonaro's Nag and explaining Daniel Vorcaro's money. The senator had promised to release the data by the 30th, after the scandal came to light. And today it has been 79 days, and up until now, Flavio Bolsonaro hasn't explained his connection with Daniel Vorcaro and where did the money go? So Andre, he explained, he said the money went to the movie. Where is the movie's accounting? We're talking about a company that is required to have accounting. There has to be financial reporting. It's a production, it's a movie. Where is the accounting? Where are the financial records for the movie? Because just from Daniel Vorcaro, according to them, it was 61 million for the movie. And it was supposed to be 134 million. And Flavio said he was seeking the rest of that money from Daniel Vorcaro. All under the table, all hidden. And they also said they had other financiers, sponsorships and sponsors of the movie who also put money into that damn Bolsonaro's Pangaré movie. Where's the accountability for this? And what the heck kind of expensive movie is this? Then to make things even worse, he doesn't account for it. And we also find out that the money didn't go to the film's production company, Go, but it went to a fund. Over there in Texas, there where Eduardo Bolsonaro lives in a 6 million real mansion, whose fund manager is the lawyer. Guess whose? Eduardo Bolsonaro's. And today marks 79 days since Flavio has not accounted for this situation. Is there something fishy or not? Because, my dear, every company is required to have accounting. You have to have an accountant and you have to have accounting. Movies are the same way. Same with movies. What's so hard about showing accounting how many funders there were? How much from each one went through the film, where the money went, how the payment was made to the actors, producers, to the camera crew. How was it? What is the difficulty? So when you ask Flavio this, because in every interview with Flavio, he is asked about this. So what does he do? Oh, but Lula. Oh, but what about Lulinha? No, Lulinha. The NSS fraud and Lulinha. Well, Lulinha has already had his bank secrecy, tax secrecy, electronic data secrecy, and every other kind of secrecy breached by Andre Mendonça. And Flavio, who was there in the audio demanding money from Daniel Vorcaro's mafia, the stolen money. Flavio hasn't had any secrecy lifted so far. Not his bank secrecy, nor his phone records, nor his digital records, nothing. And Flavio always dodges the question and doesn't answer it. And you know what I find interesting? That there are people in the press who are still trying to cover up, trying to smooth things over, trying to hush up the situation. Are you going to accept that? Because he represents the elites and he's going to crack the whip on the workers, on the poorest people. Are you going to accept a corrupt person as president of the republic? Because here's the thing, you always said the problem was corruption. Oh, Lula, I don't know what, blah, blah, blah. Corruption, blah, blah, blah. And now the problem was never corruption. It was never about corruption. You couldn't care less about that. You want someone who sets aside the public budget for you. That's what you want. It doesn't matter if it's Flavio, the militia thug, the kickback scheme, the big criminal, together with Daniel Vorcaro's mafia. Isn't that right? Or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, Lula wins in the first round. And look, there is a chance of that happening because there are a lot of people there's another exodus happening away from Flavio. With his running mate, some skilled sound engineers are involved and things are getting intense. Where's the accounting? I want to see it, and I'll stay right here with a front row seat. Because we know there's more to be revealed. Flavio himself, trying to normalize the situation, said there's a video of him. And with Daniel Vorcaro at the house of Daniel Vorcaro, he spoke trying to normalize the situation. I want to see when they release this video. Have you ever wondered if this video has audio? So, besides the party with hookers, right? Because there's also a hookers party with the astronauts' house, Swiss and German women that Daniel Vorcaro used to throw. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and all that. Italy, Papito, everything. And a lot of people there who claim to be about God, country, and family at those parties, including cheating on their wives. They even say there's a video of Flavio Bolsonaro cheating on his wife, committing adultery. Is there, Andre? They say there is. And that everything will be released gradually. That's why he couldn't get a running mate from another party. And no party wanted to support him. You know what it is? No party. Exactly, because they know all these bombshells are coming out. And I ask you, is Michelle Bolsonaro crazy? So, to get involved in what Flavio is trying to do, only if she's really stupid. But I know the fight is intense. Where's the accounting? Do you remember Bolsonaro's communications minister? Another minister who shows up. Bolsonaro's communications minister. Do you remember? It's Flavio. Is that right, Central? Flavio Farias. Farias. Flavio would do it and he did. Flavio would do it and he did. Who? Former Minister of Communications under Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro's ministers keep showing up all the time, right? Involved with Vorcaro. Chief of Staff, Ciro Nogueira. There was even a search and seizure. Minister of Social Security, who let Banco Masters steal from retirees and pensioners. President of the Central Bank, Campos Neto, from Bolsonaro's administration, who authorized Banco Master to be Banco Master, and so on. Now, the Minister of Culture, Mario Frias, who is the executive director of the movie by Bolsonaro's Loser, who is deeply involved in this whole situation, also said he would give an explanation the following week. He said, no, next week we will give an explanation because he is the executive director of the movie by Bolsonaro's Loser. Mario Frias, former culture minister under Bolsonaro. To this day, he has even disappeared from social media. Did you notice? Mario Frias has even gone into hiding. Now the communications minister showed up too. From Mario Frias or from Bolsonaro. Who is Fabio Faria? It's Faria, not Frias. These people get into trouble because it's Faria and they did it. Fabio is Faria. He's a pastor too. Did you know that? He's a pastor. Is that right, Andre? Yes, a pastor. Married to one of Silvio Santos' daughters. Former Minister of Communications under Bolsonaro. Federal deputy. He wanted to know if the prostitutes had arrived and would be there. The prostitutes from Switzerland. They were going to be at the party. Oh, and by the way, he's a pastor and belongs to the church. Lagoinha Baptist Church. Guess whose? Just like Fabiano Zetelo. André Valadão. It's all God, homeland, family, dirty tricks. I rebuke that. Back off, devil. Oh, here. Fabio Farias Faria. in a message to Vorcaro about a party with Alcolumbre, saying Alcolumbre was there too. He's crazy asking if the Swiss girls are coming. What does Swiss girls mean, Andrea? It's because Daniel Vorcaro, I'm going to use the term that Daniel Vorcaro used. He used to hire escorts. He used that term cuengas, which means call girls, from other countries who didn't speak Portuguese to take part in the parties with sex, orgies, and everything available for the guests. And what about Mario Faria? And what about Fabio Faria? Fabio Faria, on one of those occasions, talking with Alcolumbre, since the federal police has those conversations, talking with Alcolumbre, the senator, the president of the Senate, he asked, and let me tell you, are the Swiss women going to be there? Just think about when it leaks. All those videos, Pastor. Bolsonaro's former Minister of Communications under Bolsonaro. Son-in-law of the late Silvio Santos. Fabio Faria is another former Bolsonaro minister involved in the web surrounding the master case. Fabio is known as Vorcaro's guy. Fabio appears in message exchanges inviting authorities to the party with models thrown by the banker. He said he was Vorcaro's guy. Whatever the situation, you could talk to him. If you needed to act as an intermediary with Vorcaro, he was there ready. Who? He's Bolsonaro's communications minister. Another minister. Really? I want to see the videos when they leak. Oh my God, Vorcaro hires the law firm that defends Michel Bolsonaro to try for a new plea deal. Announcement of the hiring of the law firm that defended Michel, Carla Zambelli, and the former Minister of Education, Milton Ribeiro. It happened on the same day that Flavio Bolsonaro announced Alfredo Gaspar as his running mate, who shielded Daniel Vorcaro and Fabiano Zettel during the INSS congressional inquiry. Yes. Have you noticed that everything stays between them? Everything between them, including lawyers. This here, guys, there's no way, there's no way to separate it. There's no way to say he's not involved. After all, Flavio Bolsonaro in the audio called him a close friend, a dear friend, a true friend, a real friend. Who? Daniel Vorcaro. And Fabiano Zettel, who is Daniel Vorcaro's brother-in-law, who is also in jail, is already in jail. He was the main what? The biggest one, actually. The biggest donor to Bolsonaro's campaign in 2022. He donated as an individual, took 3 million reais out of his own pocket. And he donated to Bolsonaro's campaign in 2022. They wanted Bolsonaro to be re-elected. What was their interest in Bolsonaro's re-election? And then, do you want to know something? If Bolsonaro had been re-elected, we wouldn't be uncovering these frauds, not even the INSS fraud. They would keep stealing from retirees and pensioners. And not even the Banco Master fraud would be stopped. Why? Because Bolsonaro's central bank would keep protecting Daniel Vorcaro's mafia. And no one would find out about it. And the looting in Brazil would continue. With so many ministers involved from Bolsonaro and with Bolsonaro himself having benefited from this, as we know. That's what's officially recorded at the TSE 3 million. And Tarcísio received 2 million from Fabiano Zettel. Fabiano Zettel Daniel Vorcaro's brother-in-law, married to his sister and already in jail himself. And these two, Fabiano Zettel and Daniel Vorcaro, were protected by whom? By Flavio Bolsonaro's deputy on the CPMI investigating the INSS fraud. The shameless Alfredo Gaspar, Flavio Bolsonaro's deputy. So far, he had the nerve to write a report indicting several people, more than 200 people, in more than 4,000 pages. And he simply didn't indict or list as suspects even Fabiano Zettel nor Daniel Vorcaro. He shielded both of them in the joint parliamentary inquiry into the INSS. And his report was so sloppy, really so sloppy, that even with a right-wing majority and many Bolsonaro supporters in the joint parliamentary inquiry into the INSS fraud, his report was rejected. It was not approved in the Joint Parliamentary Committee of Inquiry into the INSS fraud. By 19 votes to 12, they rejected the Vice's report. And Alfredo Gaspar de Flavio Bolsonaro, because he was blatantly shielding Fabiano Zettel and Daniel Vorcaro. And now Flavio chooses exactly the one who tried to shield Fabiano Zettel. And he shielded him in the CPI. He did shield him. The only reason he didn't manage to shield him was that the report wasn't approved. He shielded Fabiano Zettel and Daniel Vorcaro, and Flavio chooses exactly him to be his vice. Coincidence or consequence? No, I'm asking you. I'm not going to keep talking here by myself. Don't leave me talking to myself. Don't leave me talking to myself. Leave your comment. Go ahead and hit the like button and share. Here's the thing. We'll say whatever we have to say. Whatever we have to show, we're going to show it. And I ask you, is it a coincidence or a consequence? Flavio chose the one who protected Daniel Vorcaro and Fabiano Zettel in the CPMI on the INSS fraud. He chose exactly the person who shielded them. Well, obviously, right? Best buddy, dear friend, right? That was said by Flavio Bolsonaro himself about Daniel Vorcaro. It's not a coincidence, guys. These are consequences. Only those who don't want to see it can't see it. It's as simple as that. Let's keep going here, then we'll show some videos of a few protests. Let's keep going. Mauro Mendez is being investigated by the federal police on suspicion of embezzling 308 million. Former Governor Mauro Mendez from União Brasil is among the targets of the search and seizure warrants. Operation Mira also targets appellate judges and a prosecutor from the state of Mato Grosso, as well as a federal deputy who is also a Bolsonaro supporter. This one is a Bolsonaro supporter, right? Governor of Mato Grosso. Definitely a Bolsonaro supporter and loud about it. And now he's getting a knock on the door from the federal police over suspected embezzlement of more than 300 million reais. That doesn't save you, does it, guys? Then it ends up being God, country, family, and crookery, right? And the federal police went after Andre Mendonça. 27 superintendencies, 27 federal police superintendencies spread across Brazilian territory, released a statement supporting the federal police's Director General, Andre Rodrigues. What's going on? What's happening? It seems that Andre Mendonça is interfering with the federal police. Interfering, in fact, there is suspicion that Andre Mendonça is investigating Andre Rodrigues. And Andre Mendonça, because how does the usual police legal chain work? Police, public prosecutor's office, and judiciary. And as a rule, there is this exchange from the police to the public prosecutor's office and then to the judiciary. Andre Mendonça is holding meetings, which many are saying are secret, with Bolsonaro supporting police officers. And notably to to complicate the situation and kind of get some political gain out of these situations. Like, for example, this insistence of theirs on Fabio, who is Lula's son. And now this situation regarding Andre Rodriguez, who is the Director General of the Federal Police. Then, those 27 superintendents of the Federal Police released a statement of support, declaring their full confidence in the credibility and integrity of Andre Rodriguez. Because Andre Mendonça, he is adopting some unusual positions. To have direct access to the police without the intermediary of the public prosecutor's office, namely Paulo Gonay, the Attorney General of the Republic, and giving directions as if he were a judge, chief of police. We also know there's suspicion that he's conducting a fishing expedition for evidence. And when we stop to think, you say, Andre, is this true or not? I can't say it's true. But we have to look at the facts because the facts reveal the truth. Shall we look at a fact that's very easy to see? Andre Mendonça regarding Luliña is really going after him. He's authorizing everything, lifting confidentiality, blocking, breaking bank secrecy, phone records, digital records, everything. Now, regarding Flavio Chao, he hasn't blocked anything so far. There hasn't been any search and seizure. Nothing against Flavio Bolsonaro. And the video asking Daniel Vorcaro for money, it wasn't Luliña, no. It was Flavio Bolsonaro. So this fact for me by itself lets us infer that Andre Mendonça isn't applying the same standard. And he wants to take political advantage to benefit Flavio Bolsonaro, which in a way even shields Flavio Bolsonaro. That's what it looks like. Then Congressman Lindenberg Farias comes and says that his video is being censored and taken down by Andre Mendonça, who said he can't do what he did, meaning that Flavio has connections with the militia. But then Flavio goes and posts a video generated by artificial intelligence and says that Lula is involved with the PCC. In this case, Andre Mendonça calls it freedom of speech and allows it, but when Lindenberg Farias claims Flavio is linked to the militia, that's not permitted. So what it seems is that in fact, Andre Mendonça and Nunes Marquez are no different. They're acting to gain political advantage in favor of Flavio Bolsonaro while shielding him from criminal liability. That's what it looks like. And I'm speaking based on facts. What do you think? Or am I the one who's crazy? Thank you. This demonstration wasn't for nothing. Thank you. In a crisis with the Federal Supreme Court, Federal Police Superintendents reinforced their support for Andre Rodriguez, who is the General Director of the Federal Police. This move comes amid tensions between the Federal Police and Minister Andre Mendonça of the Federal Supreme Court. In the context of investigations into the corruption scandal at the National Institute of Social Security, the INSS. I want to know your opinion. Thank you. To me, this is very clear. And who has to act? Prosecutor General of the Republic, Attorney General. To balance this relationship and bring it back within constitutional bounds. The Federal Police and a Supreme Federal Court Justice. There is someone in the middle here. It's the Public Prosecutor's Office. It's the Prosecutor General of the Republic, Paulo Gonay. But I'll repeat, for that to happen, he has to be prompted, especially by political parties and politicians at the federal level. Don't underestimate Andre Mendonça or Nunes Marquez. I know there are people who are avoiding this kind of complaint, but the more you avoid it, the worse it will get. Andre Mendonça won't back down unless he gets a scare from the Attorney General. And I'm absolutely sure that if the Attorney General steps in and it goes to the Supreme Federal Court, this situation will go before the full court. The full court will put Andre Mendonça in his proper place. But if there isn't a formal complaint from political parties, from representatives and senators who are interested in a fair election, the harm will come. And another situation in the electoral sphere, just like I'm telling you, the Office of the Prosecutor General for Electoral Matters has to be brought in, whose chief is also Paulo Gonay. Because if not, the mess will play out at the TSC. And maybe there won't be time to fix the situation because the election is already in October. First Sunday of October, first round. Last Sunday of October, second round. Because the Supreme Court is the body that is above the TSC. Thank you. But everything, does it all start with, Andrea? An appeal. For there to be an appeal, there has to be an initial action first, which is initiated by a formal complaint, which has to be made. If it stays like that, but we don't want to pick a fight with Andre Mendonça or with Nunes Marquez or whatever, just go ahead and see what happens. The downfall you're going to face. You have to do what needs to be done. It has to be formalized, put down on paper. And there isn't much time, you know? The election is already in October. Let's stay sharp and let's act quickly. With this whole situation, okay? Get the code, my dear, my dear. Put it, Lula Tetra, and hit the like button. Kisses, my dear, my dear. Thank you, thank you.